Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 8th of July. With McShane, working our way through Matthew, we read the 18th chapter today, and reading from verse 15, Jesus says, "If your brother or sister sins against you, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you've won them over. But if they will not listen, take one or two others along, so that," quoting from Deuteronomy, "every matter will be established by the testimony of two or three witnesses. If they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen even to the church, treat them as you would a pagan or a tax collector." I think that there's, I could go on this passage for 45 minutes, but Jesus warns us about things that will happen. He doesn't tell us how to deal with people that keep levitating, because that never happens. And so when we have warnings in Scripture, that's because Jesus knows people and he knows it's likely to happen. And so in the church, when there are brothers or sisters that offend us, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't think, oh, the church has come to nothing, because Jesus foresaw it and warned us about it. He then also says, it's quite clear about how you deal with it. If your brother or sister sins against you, go and tell the whole assembly, vilify them and blacken their name. No, not at all. Don't tell anybody. Go back to that person and address it directly with them, one-on-one. And certainly I found that on the occasions where I've had to deal with a situation where somebody said something or done something which I found has offended me, I really don't want to. It's not something one does easily. But when you've got the courage up and I've marshaled my arguments and got my whole spiel sorted out, I go to the person and say, there's this issue. And in every single situation, they've immediately said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize, I didn't mean, corrected, clarified, and the situation's been resolved then and there. And so that's how we deal with it. Go and see the person. Jesus doesn't say, if they sin against you, ignore it, pretend it didn't happen, sweep it under the carpet, because that just festers. Deal with it, but one-on-one. And he says, if that doesn't work, in the 2 or 3% of the cases where it doesn't work, then take one or two witnesses with you. Because on the one hand, you then establish that it's not your word against their word. You've then got the witnesses, but also very often an independent set of ears hearing the story will have a different perspective on it and might throw a new light on the situation and help to resolve it. So that's always helpful. So we take some witnesses, and if they still won't listen, Jesus says, only then tell it to the church. And as I read that, I thought, I'm quite sure he doesn't mean stand up on a Sunday morning in the assembly and tell everybody, do you know what Mr. Benson did the other day? Because that's not what he's referring to. I'm 100% certain of that. I think what he says here is, go to the leadership of the church, go to the elders, go to the responsible people in the church and say, we've got this problem, this is what's going on. And they can then step in and help to resolve it. And he says, if that doesn't work, then not vilify them, then blacken their name, list them on the newspaper. No, he says, then treat them as you would a pagan or tax collector. And in Jesus' day, that meant have as little to do with them as possible. Just back off from them. If you had to deal with a tax collector, you'd go, you'd do what you had to do, and then you'd leave. Likewise with a pagan, you didn't hang around with them. You avoided them. And Jesus is saying, do the same thing. You don't have to get even. You don't have to blacken their name. You don't have to do anything. Just, this person stepped out of line. They're not part of the fellowship. Avoid them and leave it. If we could live like that, if we could listen to what Jesus says, I'm sure our lives would be less complicated. The church would be a much nicer organization most of the time. And I think the whole world would be better. Jesus' word is a light to our path. We need to walk by it. In that way, we will be blessed.